Hello and welcome to Dr. VGP Talk Show. Hello and welcome to Dr. VGP Talk Show. There are no easy lessons. There's no promises of enlightenment. Only the wisdom of experience that comes from one's own journey. Our guest today at Dr. VGP Talk Show that reaches 42 million households, including 2 million in USA, showcases how gratitude that good things life has offered is exquisitely satisfying. Among them, a mystic experience that grabs your soul. Today, Dr. VGP Talk Show provides an emotional insight into the life of a global Astro Vaastu expert, a political mentor, an author, and a motivational business consultant whose haunting voice resonates with a sense of epic sweep. Global Eye viewers, a journey worth viewing and listening to. Meet the iconic Dr. Ravi Rao.
Thank you, Doctor, for having me in Chicago. I'm very grateful to you, and I'm honored. And let us start the show.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ravi Rao, for joining us at the Dr. VGP Talk Show today, in spite of your busy schedule, all the way from Ahmedabad, India, to Chicago, USA. Dr. Ravi Rao, could you introduce yourself briefly to our viewers?
Yeah, I've been a business consultant. I practice Vastu and astrology for industries and businesses.
Great. Born in Andhra Pradesh, Vizag, living in Ahmedabad, India, and today with us in Chicago. Tell our viewers, what does the word Vastu mean? In simple layman's language.
Yeah, Vastu is a very traditional word. Vasati iti Vastu. Any dwelling has certain principles in terms of energy, using the material, light, wind, everything. So how you make the property, whether it is a residence or a commercial building or a office building, it has certain tenets to follow. If you follow them, they elevate you in terms of peace and prosperity. They may become stumble blocks, and thereby it has some negativity, which can result into negative results in terms of progress.
Great. You very well explained the part of elevating. You had earlier described astrology as a science of time and Vastu as science of space.
Yes.
Could you elucidate a little further on that?
Yeah, astronomy is the behavioral science of heavenly bodies. The influence of those heavenly bodies on the living beings is what astrology is all about. So it is a science of time, and Vastu is a science of space. In between lies your life and action. So one decides the time, one decides the materials. The science of time, not much can be changed. And science of space, which can be moved or altered by manifesting few things. Thereby, you can get results in your favorable direction.
Excellent. So you're telling us that Vastu is a science of space. By making adjustments and things, you can get favorable success for prosperity.
Yeah.
And I like the way you described astronomy as a behavioral. Could you repeat that for our viewers?
Astrology is science of time. When to do, what to do is what time will decide. And how you adjust your things. For example, simple example. You want to have a study table. It should be east facing or north facing. When you have that, you tend to study well, you tend to remember well. Whereas if you face the wrong direction or a difficult direction, you may have to work a lot harder to get the same result. That is what I experienced in my last 25 years journey.
Yeah, you were saying astronomy is the study of
Heavenly bodies.
heavenly bodies, and that effect on human beings,
living beings,
human living beings is astrology.
Yes, astrology, yes.
The positioning of the planets and the stars.
movement of the planets around the zodiac is what is the influential portion of subject is called astrology.
Great. India is known for having one of the foremost astrological and Vastu experts. and we are fortunate to have you on our show today. And the interesting part about your personality, Dr. Rao, is that you are applying the Vastu principles to political mentorship, to business consultant, taking a whole new space opening up for the Vastu principles. And that's fascinating. And that's needed today. Today we are seeing the headlines about the Adani Hindenburg episodes, I would say. I wouldn't say it's a controversy. What is your take on it?
I'll come to that. Astrology is astro and logic. It's a Western word.
Oh, wow. Good.
Astrology, stars, and logic, astrology. In India, we call it as Jyotishi. Jyoti means light. You need light when you are in darkness. That is the traditional meaning of the subject. Now come to the subject of
Adani and the
Hindenburg issue. It is quite political in nature, and people who have got vested interest, they try to attack Indian economy to destabilize the politics, my view. And I've been following this topic and the progress in India and Indian businessmen in India. I've been following it closely because I advise stock markets. So Indian system by itself is very robust, proper protocols are there, proper agencies do their job. So I don't think somebody from outside can talk about Indian agencies or the machinery, how they should perform, how the loopholes are there. So I don't think I'll buy the theory of is their opinion to destabilize the economy. And it is discredited by already we can see the results very soon.
Okay, what is your astrological predictions for the Adani group today?
I see a good steady growth. I see, but right now the economy is in a upswing mode, and it is expected around the year next year. By now, we will be talking about election results, election in India. So the preceding year to election is always an opposition trying to destabilize the economy, political fabric, and unrest. All these
very
things are
well
quite
said.
common.
So there's more than it what we look at. And there is some sinister move
Absolutely.
in this whole controversial report which is being blasted in the social media and elsewhere. Dr. Rao, tell us some of the examples of how your Vastu principles, your Vastu consultancies has changed businesses and people's lives.
When I started way back in mid-90s, it was all sick companies I used to handle, and they used to come to me when there is no hope for them. So when I trying to do some small changes here and there, the results were very fascinating. By word of mouth, I've been moved from South India to North India to West India. Now around the globe I'm traveling, and last 25 years I have not rested a minute. I've been traveling constantly, advising various business groups and various business individuals, small, medium scale and upscale.
Tell us about the signature analysis. I learned that your Vastu and astrology experts could analyze a personality by their signature.
Yes.
And if you can tweak it, you enhance his chances for prosperity and success. Is that right?
Yes. Graphology has been one of the subjects in forensic sciences since ancient times. That graphology is nothing but your stroke of your thought in the mind. So what personality you have is nothing but your thought process. That reflects in your signature.
Wow, that's very interesting aspect.
You
could repeat that again for our viewers, please.
Your signature is nothing but your thought process. What personality you are, that thought process will happen in the mind first. So how you think, what you think, how you do your things reflects in your signature.
Wow. So signature is nothing but a thought process. It's a reflection of your thought process.
It's a reflection of your personality.
So how you sign tells you a lot about your personality.
Absolutely, absolutely. So how I bring it into consulting is like this. Man thinks if suppose somebody has got difficulties or some obstructions, they start blaming others. They don't blame themselves most of the time. Sometimes he is the stumbling block for himself. So by removing certain hurdles and thought process modifications, he can help himself to grow further. That is how I've been helping people.
Wonderful. You know, I learned something new that tweaking signatures could serve the thought process and could bring a new dimension to a person's life. That's fantastic. Tell us something about numerology. You know, people say you add up your birth numbers, it becomes one number, and that becomes your favorite number, and that's auspicious. Could you throw some light on numerology.
Yes, yeah. It is
It's
very,
a science of numbers.
Yeah, it is happy that I'm telling you this. We know since ancient times, Aryabhatta is the Surya Siddhanta, zero, the dot, and so zero has been invented
Zero was
by them.
invented by India.
It is the astrology which gave birth to numbers. The whole science has lot to owe to astrology. Because the Navagrahas, 9 planets are there. They are given by astrology. The number of the week, 7 days has come out of astrology. So astrology is a science which given birth to numbers. Each planet has got a corresponding number.
Wow.
So your actions, your source of activity, your liking and disliking has got a lot of to do with the numbers.
Wow.
In the sports competition, if you want example, I'll give you sports example. The football is the most favorable sport of the world. People talk about football. When you see forwards, 9, 10, 11 numbers. So astrology talks about outdoor sport, energy at the competitive level. So 9 represents Mars, 10 represents Sun, and 11 represents Moon.
So each of the planet has a specific number.
Yeah, that fixed
and
number.
that planetary number affects, you work it with the
source
birth
of, the
number.
role that you play, that is the primary one. And the birthday that you are born with is your favorable number.
So you add up all the numbers, the
Yes.
date, the month,
Yes.
and the year.
Yeah, that is the geometry we play, the matrix we play, and we arrive at favorable numbers and unfavorable numbers.
Okay.
So unfavorable numbers, you try to keep them away. Favorable numbers, you try to adapt in your day-to-day life. That will give you a smooth journey. The numerology doesn't give you a success or a destination. It makes your journey smoother so that you reach your destination happily and successfully.
Oh, okay.
That's it is.
That's interesting. And thank you for that lovely explanation on numerology. You talked about Vastu and you talked about the signature analysis. These are all very important facets which I'm sure we have to learn. Is the study of these sciences, as you call it, as the Astro Vaastu sciences and the study of the Vedic and occult science, is that reached a peak, or there's still ongoing studies and research in that field that you can read more into it, or could you?
Honestly, it has been neglected for a quite long time. In ancient times, kings used to take care of it. Ever since the modern invasions have happened, this subject has gone to dustbins. Now I would say it's a renaissance. Now it is not reached to a peak, but now people have developing faith to have one understanding the problems to handle themselves. That is why it's going to come back into the picture.
Wow, so you're saying there's a renaissance today of Vedic and occult science. Occult science means the magical, the mystical world of astronomy, astrology, numerology, and the science is growing, and there's a lot more to be learnt from the field.
Yes.
And that's wonderful to know.
It's a dependable source, I would say. It's a dependable source.
Great. It's so interesting to learn about these features. Another interesting part of your personality is being political mentorship. Are you using all these principles of Vastu, of astrology, astronomy to enhance? How do you politically mentor? How do you see that political mentorship using all these resources, innovative resources, or I would say Vedic resources, to enhance a person's political branding?
When I studied astrology in the MA School of Studies in Astrology, one of the subject was mundane astrology, which talks about country's horoscope.
Oh, great.
So every country has a horoscope.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's
So
interesting.
I'm fortunate to write a book on 203 countries.
Wow.
On the nation's prophecy, whereby I kept interest on political astrology, because political astrology talks about political stability of a country. Political stability gives economic stability. Economic stability gives social justice. That is where the economies are interviewed.
So you're telling me that each country or nation
Has a horoscope.
has a horoscope,
Yes.
and you have predicted and written a book
Yes.
called Nations Predictions,
Prophecy.
Nations
Prophecy,
Prophecies
yeah.
for 203 nations. And where is that book available, Dr.
It's
Rao?
available on the public domain.
In Amazon?
Amazon, it's available. One can order, one can read it.
Okay.
And I also elaborated 5-6 countries in detail, including America. America is one of the oldest democracy and India is the biggest democracy.
Yes.
So other democracies look forward to these big nations, how they meet their challenges. So I've written the history of 150 years of some of the countries, and when I do political mentorship, I take the political scenario of every country before I advise entrepreneurs as well as politicians. My part of my consulting.
That's very interesting and intriguing and insightful for all of us to know that every country has, you have a prediction, and every country has its own astrology and its own horoscope,
Yes.
so as to say. Yesterday, you met some of the leading U.S. congressmen, starting with the freshman congressman, U.S. Congressman Jonathan Jackson, who serves on the powerful U.S. House Foreign Relations Committee on Agriculture. You also met U.S. Congressman Danny K. Davis, who's one of the most living legends serving the U.S. House of Congress for 30 years. And you also met U.S. Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy, our very own Indian congressman in the House. What is your, could you give us your perception of how that meet with the individual come, and what is your insight into their political journey?
My brief interaction with them has allowed me to
name them one by one.
Analyze their signature, their date of birth, and try to see their purpose of getting into politics and their nature and what they're going to do in the journey in the politics.
Let me say, what was your prophecy, or what was your message for, where do you see Representative Jonathan Jackson?
He's the most simplest man. He's a man of people, and he's man on the, I would say, on the ground. He connects very well with people, and he represents their issues to the Congress, and he gives an entire service-oriented approach, and he will continue healthy and for a long time in his profession.
Wonderful. What about Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy? What is his future? He has been a very successful congressman representing all of us.
I think he's right now in some position, and he has got another 2 scales to go up, and his journey is very steady and progress.
He is right now on the House Committee of Intelligence, which is a very significant committee. He was recently named by the House leader Hakeem Jeffrey to head the Committee on China. He's a ranking member of the House Committee on China.
Actually, I only limit to his signature and date of birth and the role he's playing for the community here. The community includes Indians and people who are staying in his neighborhood. So that allows me to say that he has got a progressive career, a promising career, and who meets the politics is all about service. Service is more to the giving rather than taking.
You're very rightly said. Dr.
Absolutely.
Ravi Rao has predicted for Congressman Jonathan Jackson of the 1st District a very bright future in the House, and he would, according to Dr. Ravi Rao, the astrological and Vastu predictions when he visited the 1st District office is that watch out for Jonathan Jackson to climb up the ladder. And he also is given a very good prediction for Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy of the 8th Congressional District, and where we are here today at Schaumburg. This is part of Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy's district, and he has said that Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy will move 2 steps up, perhaps as a senator, perhaps as a governor. God will tell us at the right time. One other interesting thing, Dr. Ravi Rao, is I see that you authored a book on sports astrology. I have never heard of sports astrology, and that's something fascinating me. Could you enlighten us on what that book is about? What is sports astrology today?
Sports astrology originally originated during the Roman time when horse races were going on. The elite class used to predict on the horses.
Interesting.
And the Greek astrologers used to advise the elite class in terms of the race and victorious. Taking inspiration from that slot, I analyzed through Indian traditional astrology. I started analyzing since 1990s when I saw NBA championship of Chicago Bulls winning the trophy, the Michael Jordan winning the trophy with my favorite number 23.
Okay.
So I had, as per the theory, there are indoor games, there are outdoor games.
Right.
So favorable numbers and unfavorable numbers. So I started analyzing other games like football, which is European football and World Cups and all that. Then cricket is a religion in India. So
Absolutely.
I wanted to write a book on cricket. So I authored my first book on sports astrology on cricket. talking about the World Cups, talking about world franchise cricket. And recently, I advised one of the Middle Eastern International Cricket League. They wanted me to mentor the team, and the team won the cup. And this is last week.
Wow, excellent.
So the Gulf Giants have won the cup. So it is. I was one of the part of their team from behind. So
Great.
I would take that pride in sharing that moment with you.
Very interesting. Sports is has a global connotation on its own, and having astrology, sportsmen are being coached, being nutritional, and now we have the mental health and the psychological aspect with astrology. Perfect. You yourself were a cricketer and Vizag, playing for the Visakhapatnam district team, being a college captain. And where do you foresee the sports of cricket? Is it already conquering the world? Where do you see, what's happening to cricket today, and where do you see the future?
Then we used to play sports for the sake of fun and for the sake of our own career, but there was no professionalism then, because they were not rewarding much and the jobs were main forte. Today, sports is definitely a skill. A sports person also can earn money, make a career out of his skill. Some people are good in studies, some people are good in sports. Not necessarily study, they both have to be criteria. So the sports is a new thing which you can make it as a career. That is and I think the sports, cricket especially, will soon transform to USA, and you start seeing cricket in the coming years to come here.
Yes, I'm told that
That's the forecast.
Yes, IPL league is going to come to North America very soon. We're all excited about it and would be looking forward to it. I also heard that you're going to be the dean of a master class, which is going to be held shortly, sometime in 2023, at the Global International Institute of Leadership in New York. Could you tell us what that master class is about?
Having spent in astrology and Vastu for last 25 years and guiding people for betterment, I feel the need of the hour is everyone should learn a bit of astrology and numerology and signature analysis in guiding their own families to start with. So I'm offering a course which is a 6-day-a-week course. People can learn and help themselves first. If they're good at it, they can always go as a professional.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So that is the idea of bringing the subject to this part of the world.
Absolutely, Dr. Ravi Rao ji, you are one of the few people who are willing to share your knowledge. Especially, I've known Vastu experts, astrologers are very protective of their knowledge and want to share. And this is something wonderful that all of people in North America can utilize, and it'll be an in-person course.
Yes.
And it'll be wonderful for us to learn the basic tenets of this, and so we can practice it for ourselves, our families, and things. That's wonderful, and truly grateful for you for taking that initiative to doing that. I'm sure all of us would be welcoming this course, which you'll be the dean of instructing and directing it. The last thing I would like to have your enlightened view on is today, India made big breaking news with Air India acquiring nearly 500 jets from Boeing in United States and Airbus in France. Tell me, what do you think of that? It's the biggest deal ever made in the aircraft industry, and it's from Air India and from India. We are providing employment to America, President Biden said. The President of France gave an official tribute to India for making the largest purchase in the history for Airbus.
In my view, having political astrology and economic understanding of the economies, the shift is moving towards eastern side. That is why economy and economists are forecasting India is the future of this country. Talking about this Air India deal, Indian economy is going to be on a upswing mode, and our leadership is in the hands of Honorable Prime Minister Modi, who is a role model for many people, not only me, not only our Indians, but there are many global leaders who follow him. So under his leadership, there are many decisions, many initiatives have been taken to boost the economy for everyone. It's not only Indians in India, Indians across the globe are favoring Modi or respecting Modi, or they're followers of Modi, basically. Now, when he takes decisions with respect to economy, infrastructure, tourism and security, it is more interesting for people to visit India and have friendly holidays. And Indians visiting America also is happening very recently. And I'm happy to see a lot of entrepreneurs who are taking initiatives in USA from enterprise to moving to political side. And for instance, I met David yesterday, and he's again a pure man who's meant for service. And like Modi ji is helping India to lead from the front. This also should be very interesting to note that I'm happy to meet him, and I'm happy for all the people who are staying in his community.
Dr. Rao, you've credited the whole Airbus, the Air India historic aircraft deal to Prime Minister Modi ji, which is of course another feather in his cap. How would you talk about, we hear a lot about minorities in India, the Muslim and Christian minorities in India under Prime Minister Modi ji's government. What is would you give us an insight into that?
Yeah, I'm a witness to this transition from Gujarat to Varanasi to other parts of India. And his statement of Sabke Saath, Sabke Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, and I see it happening and transforming from every community. For them, it is only India, one India, Shrestha India, strong India. That's what is the message, and that's what I see in on the actual reality. So it is, I think, agenda of others who are vested interest in damaging political map of India. But the reality is every community is progressing well and doing well, and you can see it yourself. That's
Great.
my take.
Dr. Rao, thank you for that insight. I'm sure all the minorities are safe and secure and prospering under Prime Minister Modi ji's dynamic leadership. Could you tell us in English what Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka you?
No, Sabka Saath for everyone.
Sabka Vikas
and prosperity is for everybody.
And
faith in everybody.
So
everybody's
so
faith. Yeah.
Sabka Saath is Modi ji's
for all.
Theme.
Modi for all.
That India is for all. Sabka Saath. Modi ji is for all. Sabka Vikas. Modi ji is for development.
Everybody should be prosperous.
Everybody should be prosperous. Sabka Vikas.
Vishwas.
Vishwas. That means he has faith in everybody.
And everybody has faith.
And everybody has faith, and he respects all faiths. So Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and Sabka Vishwas are the mantra for Prime Minister Modi's dynamic success.
And you will see this happening in the next election too, which is happening in 2024.
Tell us.
That is the forecast for you.
Great.
He is going to take the flag high and move forward with more numbers.
Be precise. Election. Tell us precisely what's going to happen.
He will win the election with a major majority.
Today, a VGP party has 333 seats in the parliament. What are you predicting in 2024, next year's Lok Sabha elections?
Yes, based on my political analysis, based on the date of election, date of result day, and the political horoscope of the country normally decides. But having forecasted last two elections and with the running government in mind, I would see anywhere between 380 plus seats in the upcoming elections.
Wow. Dr. Ravi Rao has just predicted that India's Prime Minister Modi and the Bharatiya Janata Party will sweep the next parliamentary elections in 2024 with 386 seats. Am I right, Dr. Rao?
Yes.
And your prediction is based on Modi's progress report card.
Country's horoscope.
His report card of his performance, of what he has done, his inclusivity for the minorities, Indians, and the agriculture and the economic development, which includes the historic blockbuster aircraft deal which Air India made with Airbus and Boeing in the United States. Dr. Rao, you have been very informative. Yes, go ahead.
The more technology which is coming to, the need of the hour is bringing machine learning and artificial intelligence into the political system. So I would want Modi cloning into artificial intelligence and induct into every political setup the kind of intelligence where politics becomes corrupt-free, friendly to the society, and upliftment of society. That is what I think Indo-American association
Are you
can bring.
predicting this is going to happen, Dr. Rao?
Very
It's
soon.
very
Very
interesting.
soon.
You know, friends, artificial intelligence is taking over the healthcare and medicine, agriculture and droning. Artificial intelligence is taking over. You see, we have in Naperville Nalla Robotics, a robotic restaurant. Now, Dr. Rao is predicting that artificial intelligence will play a vital role in politics, not only in India, but the world over, by having Prime Minister Modi ji cloned in robotic intelligence to his leadership principles of transparency, honesty, development, and inclusiveness, to be the global visionary leader there.
Responsible government.
And responsible government and transparent government would be an artificial intelligent robot. And that's what he's predicting, or you're recommending or suggesting?
It is not a need of the hour, it's going to happen.
He says it's going to happen. And so with that amazing note, that artificial intelligence is going to have a significant role in the governance of nations, starting with India and the politics. I mean, that would answer the question, after Prime Minister Modi ji, who? On that note, thank you, Dr. Rao, for that wonderful prediction. On that happy note, viewers, we thank Dr. Ravi Rao for joining us. It was a very enlightening in conversation with you, Chief, and also your erudite thing, especially the part of artificial intelligence is going to play a role in politics and governance of nations. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Ravi Rao, again for joining us on this wonderful journey.
I thank you, the Global Eye Mission, and Dr. Vijay for calling me for this talk show. And I wish good luck to all of you, for the countrymen, and you may do much more better talk shows with many other dignitaries across the world, and I wish you all the success globally. Thank you so much.